But yeah, there's the actual story is really fucking nice, and it's something that should be more commonly known.
Well, enough about cakes and onions. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo, show 1838.
Nice.
I am your host, Johnny Hellcat, and with me today are Minions Mr. Adam.
Hello.
The Hey Camel.
I was told there'd be punch and pie.
You got onion and cake.
No, you punched the pie.
And Sanguine.
Good evening, all.
And Mr. Traveling Exhibit, Dax.
You almost called him Mr. Dex, didn't you?
He was gonna call me Mr.
I was
Dex.
not going to call you Mr.
motherfucker.
Dax. Okay.
Mr. Dax is his father, god damn it.
I was going to say Mr. Dax Orion, which would have, like...
Dax, I didn't know you were Finnish.
It would have been a perfect
I don't
Wheel of
know
Fortune
words. I was gonna
puzzle.
say thank you.
No, I was only partially done. Oh no.
This is one hell of a transition.
This is how we start.
Well, I was gonna say Mr. Dax Ryan, which I mean we're not playing Wheel of Fortune, so it wouldn't have made any sense.
I mean, you kind of horseshoed it, and if we were playing horseshoes, you got a couple of points there,
Oh, geez.
And I'm okay with that.
as you should be.
So how was your
It's one
Thanksgiving,
of the few
fellas?
things close counting.
It was good. I found beer.
Sweet.
I got paid time and a half on my second day of work.
Awesome.
I had
That's
a
right. You
friend-
got that job thing now.
Yeah, I've got one of those like jobs that pays you and shit.
Shit.
I had a
work today?
fantastic dinner, and I just realized I forgot to send off an email that I need to send off.
Whoa.
You had to email the people that gave you the dinner?
No, the dinner I provided myself. I have to email so that when I do a bit of OT later tonight, I actually have the shit that I need in order to do the OT.
Damn.
So I'm going to quickly shoot off that email. But I'm doing grand.
Cool.
And my dinner was absolutely fucking fantastic because I had a turkey hind quarter, so leg and thigh. I had roast
Hold on,
garlic.
can we just
mash.
admit? Can we take into record that he said a quarter? So it wasn't just a leg or a thigh; it was a quarter of this animal. that
Yes, it was
Sanguine,
the leg and thigh, which is the hind quarter.
Which means you had some ass.
And then, not only did I have the hind quarter, but I had absolutely fantastic mashed potatoes, which I did as a whipped garlic mashed potatoes, roasted garlic mashed potatoes with chives. Fucking fantastic. And then I had some green beans that I sauteed off in the turkey fat and finished up with a pat of butter and a little bit of lemon just to add some brightness to it. Then I roasted up some mushrooms and I made a gravy out of a stock that I've been making since last night.
I had a slice of pizza, some chicken strips, and a corn dog.
Woo!
Ouch. Oh, and I forgot the drinks. The drinks were a Two Towns Cider House, Two Berry Dream apple cider. Then I had a finger of Green Spot Irish whiskey, as well as a Cockerel
A what?
Calvados apple brandy.
Is this a clear shot of the dichotomy between a white man's Thanksgiving and a brown man's?
All I said was I have a beer. He's like, man, here's my souffle, bitch.
This motherfucker. He had a labeled ass fucking Scotch whiskey.
No. It was an Irish whiskey. It was Green
Oh,
Spot,
I'm sorry.
which is
You drink it from a snifter?
absolutely fantastic tickle. No, you don't drink that from a snifter. That you drink from a proper whiskey glass. Though you can get a whiskey glass which is somewhat like a snifter, which technically mine is kind of that bastard of a whiskey glass and a snifter.
You tell me I'm
Because
not gonna
it
tell me
works
I'm right.
both as a whiskey glass as well as a brandy glass.
In all honesty, I'm jealous as shit because I had like subpar food, but hey,
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good.
That sounds really delicious. I had a microwave hamburger, so the thrills of not being around family or being able to cook for yourself.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm nowhere near the bulk of my family. I just know how to fucking cook.
See, Sanguine, that's why you need to move close to this area. So that way it's like, oh, hey, it's Thanksgiving time. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Sanguine, what are you cooking?
Hey, it
See,
looks
we
like I
were just in the
somehow ended up
neighborhood,
at
and
your...
Hey,
Yeah, we're just dropping by
just
for
so
you know.
happens to be Christmas time. Well, what do you got in the oven?
Yep.
just as a matter of coincidence, we just happened to be in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
No, it was just me and the wife today, so we were enjoying the quiet. Had both dogs sitting out in front of the sliding glass door, so they couldn't beg for food. But I mean, they still begged. They just did it from outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because they know exactly who to ask to let in, because they had laser focused eye contact with her,
Nice.
because she spoils the shit out of them.
Yep.
And I look at them and they're like, they're not even looking at me. They're just like, we're not even gonna waste our time with you.
Dude,
Very
they know.
nice. They know that they're her little babies.
Yep.
But yeah, the dinner was absolutely fantastic. I just finished the last of my cider a few moments before we got into the call.
And they do know that I will stare at them in the eyes while I eat.
I will stare at my dogs until they blink. That's how I assert dominance.
Nice.
And it's funny because he'll come up and he'll beg, and I just sit there and I just, as long as I can hold my eyes open, I will focus on our eyes together, and I'll just eat in front of him until he
Don't break eye contact ever.
until he wanders off, or until he's just like, okay, I'm gonna lay down.
Oh, so we all had decent enough Thanksgivings, yes.
Oh, and I did forget to mention. I mentioned that I made the stock, and I've been making it since last night. I didn't mention all the ingredients of it, just to torment the people on the stream with me a little bit more, twist that knife as it were. So it is a mixed bone stock that I'm making.
We've got time.
So it is a turkey carcass, several chicken carcasses, a few good-sized pork shoulder bones, and then some roasted off mushroom stalks. So it has a really nice earthiness from the mushroom stalks, really nice just umami savoriness from the mushroom stalks and the animal bones that I threw into it. Really complex flavor built up nicely, added in some onion, added in some garlic, let it build a bit more, been tweaking the salt level as it's been just slowly simmering. And I'm probably going to continue simmering it for at least another day or so that it gets just that really deep, amazing flavor.
Sounds good.
Sounds delicious. Yeah.
Yep, as I said, I'm knowingly tormenting the people on stream with me right now.
When we get off the stream, I'm gonna have another slice of pizza and another chicken strip. Suck on that,
enough?
Sanguine.
Is enough?
Hold on. Is that a spicy chicken strip or is that just
No.
a regular?
Just a regular old chicken strip.
You're not
Chicken
living on the edge. You're living on the edge.
I
Well-
have been debating ever since I finished my dinner whether I should do a dessert as well, because I do have some absolutely beautiful peaches, so I could dust them with a bit of ginger, and then oven roast them for a while so that they get that nice caramelization. Quickly mix up a honeyed cream or perhaps one of a couple other types of sauces. Then pull out those beautifully roasted, caramelized peaches, pour on that honeyed cream, and chow down on that as my dessert.
I'm gonna have red Jello.
Connoisseur.
Hold on. In all fairness, the red Jello with like peaches on the inside, that's pretty good. It's
I'm just trying to balance out the
the
stream
gold
because
flakes you were
Sanguine's
eating.
going above and beyond as usual.
Yep. And of course, Sora
I
has
am a man of the people.
and
Sora has
and
to
this-
chime in with, "Yes, Sanguine, cream those peaches."
Oh,
Wow.
Gunsky gets here just in time to hear me saying, I'm going to have red Jello.
because of course Sora has to make things dirty.
Oh yeah.
That's what Sora means. I swear it's
There's a
ancient Gaelic
reason.
for dirty.
There's a reason for filmography.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't want to hear about this until I see it. Okay, every fucking time. You could be enjoying a nice Cinnabon, and out of nowhere, hey, did you know? Okay, you know, I've heard enough stories. Shut up or shut up.
How do you think that your Cinnabon got glazed, Adam?
Whoa! Oh,
There's a reason why it tastes like sadness.
no! I'm never going to Cinnabon with Sora Luna again, ever. Fool me once, you know. Well, fool me twice. You know, you fool me once, you're never gonna fool me again.
And Sora's now playing innocent with, "I don't know what you mean. I was innocently commenting on Sanguine's cooking."
We see through your lies, foul temptress.
I can't trust the white lady.
Well, joke's on her. We approve.
Oh yeah.
And yes, Sora's also quoting another one of them ongoing jokes from a while ago of, "How do you think they make the holes in the donuts, Adam?"
We weren't talking about donuts. We were talking about Cinnabons.
Yes. You glaze the Cinnabons at the same time that you make the holes in the donuts. Waste not, want not. Thank you.
This is an odd bakery.
and those donut holes are oddly
No,
shaped.
they're called
Yeah, they're
munchkins.
kind of lumpy.
Oh no! Where's
Should I feel
Monkey?
weird that I'm eating a donut hole right now and we're talking about this?
Hold on,
I
aren't they called
mean-
something different in Canada? Aren't they called like dippets or?
Oh,
Or
if
something like
they're
that.
from Tim Hortons, then they're called Timbits, if I remember correctly.
Timbits? Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah,
you
they're
feel any better, Dax?
A little bit.
Timbits.
You got Timbits in your mouth? That makes you,
Are you
makes
eating
you feel
Tim's
better?
bit right
How
now?
many Timbits you got in your
Tim
mouth?
Caspits.
Do they also have beanies?
They got beanies.
Oh, so many beanies. They have little beanies on every single one of these donut holes. I'm sorry, Timbits.
Timbit.
Now, I like I said, I spent the day at work, so I missed all of the festivities, IRL and online. I know, without even looking at Twitter, that there was
That
a
holds
contingent
Coke.
of engines bitching about the holiday.
I love the onomatopoeia of that.
Gee, it's like we've seen it before.
Every year, in September and November, we get 2 days of just bitching, and it's usually from a Navajo.
Oh, fucking Jack
Or-
Gunsky's here. Shit.
Oh shit, what's the other one, Johnny?
What did you play?
The Lakotas.
No, oh, the Sioux. That's right.
Yeah.
So shall we launch into the actual origin of the holiday then?
Yeah.
Well, first, actually, let's let Dax tell his story.
I'm
And
not
then you
going to
can-
name her name though.
You don't have to do that. But
she's fairly
he-
big in my world.
Dax, he messaged me, just before we were gonna go live, and he was asking me about my feelings on Thanksgiving. It's like, I love any holiday that celebrates gluttony. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I had the feeling that was going to be his answer, but it's just
I'm a
top of my head. It's
notorious
like I've
fat
never
ass,
asked.
so yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm eating donut holes right now. I'm sorry, Timbits right now. It's not like
No,
I'm
I said
exactly-
I'm a notorious fat ass. So
Yeah, but we're birds of a feather, in a headdress.
Notorious.
But okay, so story goes, we all seen the ACLU posts. They're obsequious toads and liars and pieces of shit.
Yes.
Yep.
So they said something. I think it was along the lines. In fact, I'll look it up because it's going to probably be pertinent. Let's see. So the ACLU of Virginia, to be specific. And it just says in repetition, "You are on native land," and it says it like 9 times or something. And I responded,
Fuck that, by
"Cool.
right of conquest, we aren't.
I wanted to, but I didn't want to be that much of an edgelord."
technically, I am on a reservation,
You are.
legally speaking. So
I'm not on a reservation. I'm not on Indian land. I'm on
Hey.
land by right of conquest.
I mean, we deal with our slaves as we will. Anyway, I said,
But when did you lay claim to it? I mean, if it's
Uh,
in reservation, oh no.
Goddamn.
table for 3. Anyway, I said, "Cool. Since I was born here, I'm native." And my friend responded to that along the lines of, "Not necessarily. Are you original indigenous inhabitant?" And I'm like, "Shit. I don't want to talk about this in the public because I know she gets defensive and angry." And I was right.
Mm-hmm.
And not to reveal the whole contents of the DM, but it goes along the lines of as you would think. It's like, I apologize for being just as bad as the enemy because it's true. It's like I didn't have to say anything. I could have ignored it because it's fucking stupid, and I probably should have ignored it. But you all know me; I don't ignore things because I'm a dumbass.
It's a bullfight.
It's a bullfight. It's exactly a bullfight.
you should have
waving
told
the
her that
red
you got
flag
an
in front of
engine
me.
pass.
I wanted to. I had every opportunity to lie because she's never seen my face.
Well, no, I mean,
And-
like just like me and Johnny,
Oh, that too.
we gave you the pass.
Well,
Like on a-
I made you the simp pass.
You did make me that. So I got
Hey,
to get out of
Buggy.
jail free. But
Hold on, you gave him the pass? What's the pass?
I
you don't know about the pass?
I made him a
No,
simp
what's
pass.
the pass?
Well, Tyr gave me the N-word pass, and
What the shit?
I'm paying it forward and extending Dax the
Do I
engine
get the
pass.
pass?
It's funny though. A tier gave you the N-word pass, but you won't let him die.
I mean,
Well, if Tyr dies, then he loses the N-word pass.
Yeah,
Why
well,
would
I
he
mean-
let him die?
my
Well, it's
not
my
his fault.
pass was
Representative.
void. Then I mean, that's just
Well, hold on. Do I get the
No,
pass?
no.
well, you're native, dude.
Just ask your boy Pat. He'll give us all passes.
Wait, am I native?
I
I
thought
mean,
you
were
were.
born here.
Didn't you say? Wait,
Well,
are you a
I
secret
don't-
Mexican, Adam?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
He's a mestizo.
I don't know what I am. I don't know anymore.
Oh God,
What am I?
Adam's having a crisis of identity live on here.
Oh shit!
Reality's breaking around him.
Okay,
Who are you? Why
how
am
many
I
edibles?
here?
How many
I
edibles
have
have you had
no
today,
more.
Adam?
He might not have none, but I might take one later. That
Oh,
being
man.
said,
The way like my feet and my knees and my lower back are aching, I'm definitely taking like 2 before I go to bed.
I don't know how many of those I want to combine with the beer I've been drinking. So I don't get drunk, but I have no idea what's going to happen if I do both at once.
There will be a synergistic effect.
That'd be great. Great and weird, and I hope I don't make a mess on my floor. But before that all happens, so the basic stuff went down. She says, thing is you responded like everyone else, creating more divisiveness than needed. The wording is just, is aggressive that from the ACLU, but, because they have to add the buts. It's like, how do we, but the end of it was like, well, how do we move past this all while respecting, other people's humanness and origins? And you all know me. I don't care what color you are. If you're a dick, you're a dick. And that's only been my life's mission.
I definitely would have been a dick to your friend.
I know you would have. And
I'd been like, either shut the fuck up or get better at war. One of the two.
Yep,
no, I'm not interested in her in any way.
That's my point with right of conquest every fucking time. When someone gets pissed off about it, and I just go, right of conquest, bitch.
I respect her too much for that. This is an actual friend. Like, I have no interest in this woman whatsoever, and she's big in the Star Wars world. So you'll all probably piece it together. Most of you are my followers anyway. But it's like I just don't want to make the wave there. It's like it doesn't seem like it's a fight worth fighting. I know in my heart of hearts, this shit does not matter. Obviously, the people I surround myself with are the only ones who matter to me. You guys matter to me. These people in the ACLU, I don't give a shit about. So I just thought I'd
let
share
me
it.
indulge this power for a bit. And I matter for you.
Oh my god!
Listen,
I take it back.
All right. Well, never mind then. I was gonna say, go get me a cookie puss, but
I'm gonna quippy kiss it. But no, that's it. Just made me feel a little bit bad. I was like, am I wrong for thinking everybody should just fucking not necessarily get over it, but remember it and then just try to be decent folk?
yes.
Like, because Dax asked me,
agree.
he's like, we haven't really talked about it. How do you feel? Like, being native, it's never been the forefront of my fucking mind. I generally, that's like that like I said, that's like the Navajo, the Sioux, those northern tribes are out west. All the tribes in Oklahoma. I mean, yeah, there's appreciation, celebration of culture and heritage and whatnot, but it's I think part of it has to do with the way the tribes were treated differently. Like in Oklahoma, there wasn't like the reservation system. There was land allotments. And I think that made us look at things differently. Because like down here, we've got our own thing going on. We do our own shit. I've never heard an Oklahoma Indian bitching about like Indian mascots or this, that, or the other. Like I hear from, again, the Navajo, the Sioux, so on and so forth.
Cherokee.
Yep.
No, not Cherokee. Not really.
Well, not so much the Cherokee, but I've heard they're a distant third, maybe fourth.
Well, I mean, they get points in my book for shutting down Elizabeth Warren.
That is true.
Well, the question is, are you
but yeah, they
talking
do have some of their some things that they look back on and whatnot. It's like, okay, you guys sound like like white people. You sound overly guilty for something that you didn't do.
That's not fair because Elizabeth Warren had a really nice cookbook out there.
I feel
How
like a
high are
good
you right
chunk
now, Adam?
Of,
Pretty high.
That's what I
Eagle
thought.
balls.
Okay.
I feel like a good chunk of the ones that you would count as the whiners, though, Johnny, are the
What, you mean
ones
Camel?
that have.
Do we all look
Cherokee
alike to you?
blood.
Sanguine?
No. Johnny was the one saying that the Cherokee were in the list. You were saying that, okay, yeah, and he said it was a distant third.
That's why I love that Sanguine is here. He's the
But
the European historian writing.
the Cherokee, I think a
Wow,
good chunk of the
Sora.
ones that are grouped as the ones bitching and moaning, they're the... Yeah, I have according to my family history, a Cherokee great-great-great-grandmother rather than...
7 generations ago, a Cherokee spit in my grandmother's mouth.
Exactly. I think that's where a lot of the whiny Cherokees come from.
Well, it was funny because was it last week before, I got called a pretendian.
Oh, because you weren't sufficiently fuck white people?
I think it was like a now
pretendian?
this. It was like a now this news tweet.
Yep.
Where they were talking about how there are still over 2,000 sports teams in the U.S. with native mascots, and some are saying it's dehumanizing. I was like, I'm an Indian and I miss Chief Wahoo. Go fuck yourselves. And so yeah, some guys are like, this white person pretending to be an Indian is like, I'm a card-carrying member of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. Fuck you,
Chalk it up
I
to
still
not
say-
knowing who you are.
And
I still say the proper response to that is name all those teams after the whitest fucking groups that you can imagine. Make them the Berserkers, make them the Wood Raiders, make them the Highlanders. Fuck it. Just go for the whitest fucking groups imaginable.
Well, yeah. I mean, my original reply to that tweet from Now This News was, once all those teams are renamed, these activists will cry that there is no representation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's when this other guy jumped in. Saying like, no, because these are racist racist white representations that aren't supported by any tribe or nation.
Tell me again how the fist-fighting leprechaun...
Well, no, I mean the best response is, tell me again about the Florida State Seminoles and how that's not representative. Even though the Seminoles like it.
Yeah, I still just find it hilarious that people will make that argument though when they're going, yeah, the Fighting Irish. That's a perfectly valid team name. They have a fist-fighting leprechaun.
Yeah.
That's their team mascot.
But yeah,
in hindsight,
fighting leprechaun.
In hindsight, Dan Snyder should have just stuck with the original Americans, the Washington original Americans.
But no, like so that guy he replied to me with that those are racist white representations aren't representative of tribes. I'm an Indian, and I miss Chief Wahoo. Go fuck yourself. And that was actually one of the first tweets I've had where the little pop-up showed up before I could hit send, saying like,
I see that every day.
Most tweeters don't. Well,
Don't turn into me, man.
I'm also an asshole. I have a fair bit.
Well, no, like I tend to not just flat tell people go fuck yourself, but in this particular instance, I was like, you know what, he deserves it, because I thought it was really funny. He's sitting there talking about natives and whatnot. Yeah, okay, he's a member of a tribe. That's the name of the tribe is fucking French.
Nice.
I was like, tell me again, because Choctaw, yeah, sure, the spelling's been anglicized, but it's literally the same pronunciation almost.
Mm-hmm.
It went from Chata to Choctaw. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, was it Fond de Luc or something, whatever? I was like,
oh yeah, one of the very fucking Frenchy ones.
Yeah. And there's two different people in his profile picture, and if I stand out in the sun for an hour, I'm darker than both of them.
Nice. Which means that they're probably still darker than I am. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, you're like...
I'm so white I nearly have to start worrying about moonburns.
You should have walked up to them.
Smallpox blankets are a myth, by the way.
Oh, that's one thing that pisses me off every time that I hear about the smallpox blankets, because we're talking about the early 1700s, right? When that gets brought up
Before
a good chunk
germ
of the time.
theory, yes, we all know.
Yeah, germ theory popped up much later than that.
But it's a fun meme, Sanguine.
Robert Liston was decades and decades and decades after that going, maybe surgeons should clean their shit before they go into surgery. Maybe just going in still stained in the blood, pus, and gore of your previous surgery isn't the way that we prevent your patients from dying after surgery. Maybe we should clean that shit, do fresh surgical aprons, clean our instruments, at least boil those bastards before we use them.
I mean, you can go that route, or you can go the route of, oh yeah, no, we're giving people fucking blankets of plague. There you go. I mean, it's shorter to say than what you said, so.
It is, but it is far less accurate.
That was still funny, Terry. That was still fucking hilarious, Terry.
Terry, hold on.
made-
Terry
made
said
a,
something hilarious? Hold on. Get
Terry
out of
made-
here.
Terry made a blanket joke and
Terry
was
isn't
immediately
funny. Hold on.
fact-checked after telling the joke.
You know what, Terry?
Nice.
We'll have to have a discussion on this. He can't make jokes.
But yeah, so like growing up, I mean, Thanksgiving, that was just a holiday for, getting together with the family, being, gluttonous, maybe watching some football.
As it should be.
There was none of this, woe is us, we're so oppressed, won't you please, pretty please, give us back what was taken, from our ancestors. So, like, here's another thing. Being Choctaw, I don't want the land back. I don't want to go to Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to sit in Hurricane Harbor?
Nobody wants to go to Mississippi. I was like, I mean, it's one of the few places that like makes Oklahoma look like a step up.
Nice.
I mean, it's like Mississippi, Arkansas, and then you've got Oklahoma. Like, I've got two states where I can point to the east and be like, fuck those guys.
Mm-hmm.
It could always be worse.
Yeah. And so, shall we go into the 3 different stories about Thanksgiving?
Sure.
So,
But while you're doing that, I'm going to mute myself for a moment, and I'm going to see if I can catch up to Adam.
nice.
Yeah,
So there's
dude.
the
Go Speed Racer.
quasi-myth that every American knows and probably everyone around the world knows when it comes to Thanksgiving. The quasi-myth is the pilgrims come to the New World, they start up a colony, and their colony immediately starts starving because they don't know how to farm in the land. One of the local tribes comes over, educates them in how to farm in the area, and then they start to prosper. A year passes after that education, and they've now had this ridiculous bounty from their farming and handling of the land. So they celebrate by inviting the natives that help them to come to a feast, and it's a feast of Thanksgiving where they share their bounty with the natives who help them produce it. You've all heard this story, right? And it's the pilgrims complete with the buckles on their head, the belt buckles on their boots, the buckles at their waist. The only thing more restrained than their outfit is their actual fucking personality.
Yes, I
Yeah,
do believe
they're
I've heard that
oaks.
before.
Everyone knows this story. It's the grade school story. So there's a reason why I call this the quasi-myth. And the quasi-myth is because that event, as I just outlined it, never fucking happened.
Wait, Plymouth Rock wasn't real?
Plymouth Rock was. The Pilgrims, most of them were fairly agriculturally knowledgeable. They did not require that. There are about 6+ stories from various other areas. None of them were Pilgrims.
Hold on.
But-
Is this should we be doing this? A white guy telling a couple of brown people history.
Abso-fucking-lutely. So there's
this is the way it's
about 6+ of these stories that happened from all over the fucking place. The thing is, the stories weren't the Pilgrims, so that part is fictionalized, and they happened all over the eastern seaboard.
I'm gonna sit back and take a history lesson.
So that Pilgrim's story is a fusion of these 6 stories, adding in the Pilgrims because shits and giggles, I suppose. But that's the quasi-myth. It isn't true, but it isn't entirely false either. It's a fictionalized version of true accounts. That makes sense? Well,
Yeah,
I call
man,
it a quasi-myth.
I've seen enough of those based on a true story movies to know what you're talking about. Yeah.
All I
Yeah,
can remember is the scene out of Adam's Family Values.
It is exactly the based on a true story element, where there's 6+ stories that are combined, and then there's some additional details added just to make them a little bit sexier in the telling. And yes, I realize the irony of saying that they're making it a little bit sexier when they're including the Pilgrims, which again, the only thing more repressed than their uniform is their personality, sense of morality, anything like that. Ridiculously restrictive culture. But then you have the counter-myth, which is more mythical than the quasi-myth. And the counter-myth is the one that we currently hear constantly now. Of not only did that story never happen, exactly how it was said, but that story never happened at all. It was always war and bloodshed, and it was always one side as the aggressor, never the other side. The other side was just this poor, helpless victim. Which, that's more mythical than the quasi-myth, because when you look at the history, both sides committed atrocities. Both sides just absolutely massacred people. It was touch and go for much of that early period. Eventually, times told, and previous victories told, resulting in the condition that we now have currently. But most of the counter-myth is the sort of defeated culture's moral superiority myth that I hold absolutely no truck with. This is one of the things that drives me crazy about a good chunk of Irish stories past a certain point. Because there's this, well, the Irish were culturally superior to the English. No. The Irish weren't culturally superior to the English. Well, the English committed all these atrocities, and it was always the Irish that were the victims. Did the English commit atrocities? Yes. Were the Irish completely without any sort of blame or any sort of fucked up situation on their side? Fuck no. They're a group of people. Every group of people has fucked up shit that they did to their enemy and fucked up shit that was done to them by their enemy. Shit like this goes back and forth. You aren't just exonerated because your side lost. So it pisses me off every time I hear the counter-myth. But then you have the actual story of Thanksgiving. And the actual story of Thanksgiving is fucking beautiful. So I know that I've mentioned this on air, and I mentioned it on air with Adam and Camel in particular. Dax and Johnny, do you guys know when the first Thanksgiving was?
The Civil War.
Yes. The first thing,
you know, I don't quite want to be in particular. It's not flattering, to be honest.
I suppose I can go ahead and tell that story, Johnny, after Sanguine is done with his.
Yeah.
So, the first Thanksgiving was declared in the wake of the Battle of Gettysburg. And it was a moment where Lincoln had a choice that he needed to make. We had two victories back to back that really decided the war when you look at them on a grand scale. And up until those two victories, the war could have gone either way. The war could have been a Southern victory. The war could have been a Northern victory. It could have gone either fucking way. I cannot stress that enough. What happened is that we had the victory at Gettysburg. And we had the victory at, I'm trying to remember the other battle off the top of my head. I want to say it was Vicksburg, but I could be wrong. But we had another battle that was a victory right around the same time.
The only one that pops in my head is Antietam.
Maybe
No,
Appomattox.
Vicksburg is correct.
It is Vicksburg? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Antietam was the bloodiest battle, but
Antietam was a bloody battle.
yeah. You had the two victories back to fucking back, and that was the moment where everyone kind of realized the war was in the back half. The war was winding down. The Union was going to win. It would take time, but the Union was going to win. So, Lincoln had to acknowledge the victory. Or the victories, rather. Because if he didn't acknowledge the victories, he'd be spitting in the face of every man that died in the battle, every man that fought in the battle, and every family that sacrificed one of their sons to do so. You can't do that. You have to acknowledge the victory. But if he had made the celebration something that was completely Union-centered, completely devoted to the victories at these two battles, it would have driven a wedge into an already fractured nation. And it would have created a generational grudge, the likes of which Lincoln did not want. It would have vilified every state that was part of the Confederacy, and it would have glorified every state that was part of the Union. He wanted to reunify the country. He didn't want to divide it more. So, he had to think of what to do. And he had people look into American history to find something that could be uniting. So they came up with two things. One of them was the 6+ stories that I said were combined into the quasi-myth. And he merged those together to make those the foundation of a new holiday. And the second part was precedent. Because after the Revolutionary War, Washington named a national day of Thanksgiving. It was a one-off day of Thanksgiving. But it was a national day of Thanksgiving. So he took both of those things. He melded the story, which was not just a story of white people. It wasn't just a story of natives. It wasn't just a story of any single group. It was a story of the foundation of America. Something that, in fact, predated the foundation of America. So every American could look back at it with equal share of that story. And he declared a national day of Thanksgiving. And the idea was that it would be a day where you come together with people of this group or that group, especially your near and dear, and you just talk about what you're thankful for. You talk about what was good in the previous year. You forget the grudges at the door. You forget the differences at the door. It is a day of unity. It is a day of giving thanks for the year. And it is all given this general form of a fucking universal ancient tradition of hospitality. Because this is something that has held true across the world. You have the tradition of hospitality. Bread and water is the form for most of Europe. You have other versions. You have effectively rice and water throughout much of Asia. You have a different version in Africa. You had a different version in the Americas. But everywhere had this tradition of you share food and drink. And when you share food and drink, you aren't allowed to attack the person who gave you food, nor are you allowed to be attacked by the person that gave you food. It's this moment of peace. It's this moment of unity. It's this moment of thinking on what unites us rather than divides us. That is the actual fucking origin of Thanksgiving. And fuck you, Jack, because if you find that story boring, you are an absolute piece of shit.
Oh, wow.
whoa.
All the shots fired.
Yep.
I will
If
say-
you
I
find
will
a
say,
story of unity and togetherness boring, fuck you.
it is from the Civil War point, it makes sense, you know. And even the mythos, quote unquote, of the pilgrims and Indians, you know, type of thing, that makes sense too. Is just, it's a coming together of hostilities, I guess you could say. I think it's a sentiment that should be the cream of the crop on this aspect.
I think you know, we should go ahead and stick with the theme of Thanksgiving and the holiday, and transition to something else. Who
Mhm.
else is terrified of turning on a radio now that Thanksgiving is over and hearing the fucking Christmas music?
You didn't have to finish, and I already knew I have a headache coming.
That's the
Carey's
started before Thanksgiving.
I know.
I think right after Halloween we started hearing Mariah Carey.
In
Mariah?
in October of last year. I mean, I haven't really turned on the TV much, you know, this year. But in October of last year, I took my grandmother to we were scheduling an appointment, and I go into the doctor's office, and on the TV, this is before Halloween. They had one of those, you know, with a Hallmark, Lifetime, one of those channels, already doing their Christmas fucking rom-coms, or you know, whatnots. I was like, we haven't even had Halloween yet. Why are they doing Christmas movies already? They're like, yeah, it's been all day. The war on Christmas must continue until it ceases its illegal occupation of the month of November and encroachment on October. All right? These are the terms of war. I will accept no surrender until those terms are met. Nobody wants to join me on that crusade, huh? Okay.
Christmas needs to be returned to its proper time period.
Yes.
Christmas, it can start happening at the absolute earliest. I can kind of allow some of Black Friday.
You don't. I don't want to see any decorations up until after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I do not want to hear a goddamn Christmas carol until December 1st. And anybody who plays Mariah Carey gets shot on sight.
See, I'm okay
I
with
would join this crusade, but I would also avoid any bridges. Just
okay with a couple of Christmas songs with Black Friday because Black Friday is just the sales day for Christmas.
No, I want Let the Bodies Hit the Floor on Black Friday.
I love that goddamn song.
I want Carnage and Mayhem on Black Friday. That's not Christmas Carol set and setting. I want like Norwegian death metal playing on Black Friday.
Shit. Well, is there anybody actually going out tomorrow?
Oh fuck no! I mean, I gotta work. I gotta go to work, but yeah, I'm not going shopping.
I do Cyber Monday far more often.
Yeah, I can understand the Monday. Or was it Cyber Monday or whatever?
Yep, Cyber Monday.
I mean, I would take advantage of like the discounts on Cyber Monday, sure. But I'm the kind of person who like, I mean, if I'm willing to buy you a Christmas present, I'm on the lookout all year round. I'm not one of those people who's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll wait until December 23rd. You know, I'll wait until Festivus to go get your Christmas present. No. You know, I'll probably be the kind of person who buys your Christmas present on December 26th and then saves it for next year.
I thought about the longevity of that. It's like, all right, you said you hated this gift, so I'm just gonna grab this one tomorrow, and I'll see you next year.
Yeah.
No, I've gone Black Friday shopping. I've even done some like Thursday shopping when the opportunity arose. My favorite moment in the local Kmart way back when, and I had gotten a TV. This is like fresh after my separation, and my friend was letting me crash at his place.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I got money for it, so I might as well, you know, I'm gonna buy a TV. So I bought a 52-inch. And I showed up at my friend's house, and I'm like, Merry Christmas. Like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to buy a TV. He's like, and you're going to keep it here? Yes. Okay. Like, so he's like, all right, just making sure that you're on board with this. I'm like, yeah, I've got nowhere else to go. Like, fuck. So, I'm in Kmart. I got my thing, and so many people are in there. Like, I'm not getting out anytime soon, so I might as well wander around and see if there's something I can pick up. If there's anything worthwhile for the kids or whatever. And I'm going through, and there's these couple of older women fighting over a couple dolls in the toy section, and I'm okay. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this from a distance because this is great. Like, they're getting catty, and they start kind of like getting into a shove off with like where they start like getting pretty close to fisticuffs, and as they start to like they've completely lost focus on what they were buying because they're so focused on each other that they didn't notice the guy walking up behind them and taking the last one of what they were fighting over and just beelining the shit out of there. And I'm fucking dying.
Nice.
Because they're still fighting, and it took them a good, I'd say a good 3 or 4 minutes before they realized that their thing was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It wasn't even like Tickle Me Elmo stuff. It was just something that happened to be on sale. I don't even know what the thing they were fighting over is.
Though that just reminded me of a story I heard earlier this week. Did you guys hear about the Mr. Beast incident?
No.
So
I hear his name pop up from time to time, but I hadn't heard of an incident.
You guys all know the basics of Mr. Beast, right?
His name is Jimmy, and he's got lots of money.
Yeah, he's an extremely popular social media person that has made a massive amount of money off of his social media. Now he's decided that he's just going to do good deeds. And he's been doing them for an extended period of time. So when there were a bunch of creators that were advertising the, what was it, Million Trees Initiative? I think that was the name of it. Was it the Million Trees or the 2 Million Trees?
I forget.
It was something Million Trees Initiative. And it was a bunch of people kind of putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to their worries about climate change. And for every dollar that was pledged, they would plant a tree. So it was done for less than the cost that it actually incurred for them to do this. But it was every dollar that was pledged to it, they would plant one tree. And they succeeded. Fantastic job. Absolutely admirable when someone puts their money where their mouth is, when they think that something is important and they actually go for it. All the respect for that. And he's done a bunch of other things where he's given people money for different causes, different events, shit like that. Really nice guy by all accounts. So he's doing this thing of a good deed a day. And I can't remember how long the good deed a day is going, but he's doing a good deed a day series. And he's just going and helping people out.
For one
So-
day.
Well, he helps out different people every day. So there was a grocery store, Piggly Wiggly,
I love
that-
Piggly Wiggly.
he talked to.
Shut
And
the pig.
he needed to make sure that the place was safe and do all that. So he talked to the manager and asked if it would be possible for him to do something in the store on the particular day that he was thinking. And he started going through all the permissions, started getting everything set up for that. Well, the information that he was going to that Piggly Wiggly leaked. And it was leaked by most likely one of the employees of the Piggly Wiggly. And they said that he was coming in to buy everyone's groceries. Because one of the things that he's done a number of times is that he'll show up at a store randomly, and everyone in the store, when he shows up, he'll buy everything that they have in their cart for them. And he's done this several times, just as a nice gesture, effectively. So this leaked out. A bunch of people from all over the fucking place heard about this, and they flooded the Piggly Wiggly. Absolutely overrun the fucking place. And they stripped the shelves clean like they were goddamn locusts. Just filling their carts with as much shit as they possibly could, and they waited. Eventually, word came down that he wasn't actually going to be showing up. He had to cancel due to safety issues. The thing is that he wasn't the one who had announced it. He wasn't the one who had told people to come do this. He wasn't the one to have done any of this shit other than go and talk to the supervisors at the store, figure out that he would be allowed to do it at that store, and come up with a very loose plan that if everything worked out, he would go and do it. A bunch of people started then baying for blood when he had to back out due to safety concerns. And they particularly started baying for his blood when they saw the state which the Piggly Wiggly was left in. Because, of course, the people that showed up and just started piling fucking everything in their carts, they didn't return that shit to the shelves.
Of course not.
They just left it in their cart, wherever the fuck their cart was.
And as somebody who has worked at a grocery store, fuck all of them for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And people
Fuck
started
them with a
baying-
pine cone, all right?
Yeah, people started baying for his blood. And to me, he's completely fucking blameless in this, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because he didn't announce it. He didn't tell people to go and do this shit. He didn't have any fucking part in it. It was whoever fucking leaked the detail. And I can easily imagine that he's had viable safety concerns, considering the number of people that have tried to figure out where exactly he lives. He has a full-time security detail that just finds out when people are asking where he lives in the general vicinity and go to them saying, knock that shit off. Because so many nut jobs have tried to find him. So he got fucked over because a bunch of people were trying to bay for blood because they didn't get free shit off of a man who never said that he was going to give them free shit.
Yeah, that's oh my god.
You were saying?
And Talik, I absolutely agree. That is some serious commie shit right there.
I hate people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People suck. That's a given.
The thing is that story was both a people suck story as well as a people are actually fairly fucking good story. Because the shit that Mr. Beast has been doing for his generosity has been legit. The man actually has given a ridiculous amount of money to worthy causes, and not just to causes, but to individual people, making individual people's lives better.
You know, that's the only reason I'm tempted at all to buy like a burger from his chain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, you done some good. I guess I can afford $15 for a Happy Meal.
I mean,
He has a
is that
It's called Mr. Beast Burgers.
Mm-hmm.
is that a like before all the inflation or like currently with?
They're expensive. It's like Five Guys levels of price.
I've never had Five Guys either.
Well, you've never had Five Guys from I don't believe that. That being said, yeah, I don't. I've heard it's mediocre quality, but again, you know, the guy's doing good. I toss to charities every time I walk by something and ask for $1 here or there. So if me getting a little bit fatter means somebody else gets to eat it all, I can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I ever get hit up for charitable causes and stuff like that is walking into like buy my groceries. You know, it's like they'll hit you up as you're walking in and be like, hey, you can donate. Like, I've got bills to pay. You know.
Why don't you wait till I come out and you see nothing but booze in there? Then you'll know I have money.
Yeah. You know, oh hey, you got a nice new flat screen. You want to cost a couple bucks to the Salvation Army? Maybe. You know. Like, you know, whole new wardrobe, huh? You know, bought a bunch of clothes. That's one of the big things at Walmart that they make their money off of.
Oh, their clothes are huge.
Like, I mean, surely you can kick a couple bucks to the Girl Scouts, get you a box of Thin Mints while you're at it.
I can absolutely, but don't call me Shirley.
The Girl Scouts aren't about the only ones that I will stop and be like, yeah, man, give me some of them cookies.
They're fucking addictive and they know it.
Oh yeah, the Girl Scouts are my yearly drug dealers.
He's walking up.
I see.
I'm just like, I need my fix, man.
Well, like
Yeah.
my best
I see
friend,
Girl Scouts, and I'm just like, how much is it for a box of Thin Mints? Fuck it. How much for a crate of Thin Mints? Fuck me. Just give me the fucking Thin Mints, man. Just give me the Thin Mints.
He starts screeching.
my best friend from elementary school, like his grandmother was a Girl Scout like troop commander or whatever.
Pack
so,
leader?
like, pack leader, whatever they call them. I don't know.
I think they're called pack leaders. I know they were for Boy Scouts.
Girl Scout troop leader, I think.
I
They
like
really
I
just
like
that
I like
size?
the idea. I like the idea of the Scouts being like a paramilitary organization. They're troop commanders in
I
my
don't know.
book.
Are we allowed to call them Samoas anymore? Or
No.
oh, I thought we were
But-
talking about the cookies.
But like, my buddy's grandma, she was the grand poobah of the local Girl Scouts.
The
And
Grand Poobah.
so
I'll
like,
take it.
we got the hookup on the cookies like
Does it get the
every
hint,
year.
though?
But like we had to help out too. So like I'm an honorary Girl Scout. All right. I was knighted and everything by his grandmother.
You're an official Girl Scout.
Honorary.
So that answers so many questions I had.
I'm sure it does. Like, why am I so fat? All those Thin Mints.
Yeah, if
Ironically
you ever,
named, aren't they?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you get fat on Thin Mints?
If I were to ever be found with a razor blade in a bathroom just chopping something up to snort, it's going to be fucking Thin Mints.
I
Dude,
think
Caramel
I'd rather
the Suns,
just
whatever they're
eat
called,
them
are
because
awesome.
That sounds like that would burn at the very
It
least.
would, but it's the fastest way of getting it into my system.
I'm pretty sure the stomach is still number one in that regard when it comes to solid
No.
food.
Stomach would be a slower uptake due to the receptors. The nose, the reason why people snort drugs, it is extremely vascular. It's the same reason that people boof,
Yeah, those
Because-
drugs are powder though. They're not cookies.
which is why I'm saying a razor blade. You have to really go fine with the cookie.
Bro, dude, people ingest alcohol in their anus.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's boofing. Wait, did I know a drug term that Adam didn't?
Yeah.
I was surprised I knew what it meant. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that when they shove a
I
tampon up there? Oh,
Okay, hold on.
I guess I'm just still
I-
bewildered that he's arguing about ways of using drugs when we're talking about cookies.
I smoke pot. I've ingested some mushrooms. Outside of that, yeah, I'm not a big drug guy. So, yeah. Oh wait, no,
Boofing
I
is
had
the
opium.
anal consumption of any drug.
Well, because I've heard of it. Kevin and nobody else has heard of that shit.
Yeah, I've heard of boofing.
I've heard of it. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
why
I
I'm using
mean-
the fucking word for it.
I think he's asking the rest of us, like me and Johnny and Dax.
Yeah,
If,
I mean,
if we were unaware.
I was yes, I was
I've
aware.
hung around many degenerates, Adam. Yes, I was aware of boofing.
Yes, I didn't know there was a term or.
Yeah.
I am unaware
just-
of the boofing.
Boofing, or if you're talking specifically alcohol, a lot of people just call it butt chugging.
Well, jeez.
but
Apparently, Adam's never seen the Jackass movies.
No, actually, I haven't.
Again,
You
this
are
concerns me, the fact that apparently I know these terms.
Because Adam's a good boy. He just smokes a little reefer and occasionally takes some shrooms.
I haven't even done that much.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
you
you're a
know what?
nerd.
We'll set up a movie night and watch some what was it?
Jackass?
Jackass. Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
boofing
I watch
or butt
Jackass a
chugging?
lot.
That's one of those things. Like, you don't need a second viewing of that. I've already seen like Jackass movies. I've seen like Steve-O do the butt chug. I don't want to see it again.
Dude, no.
Reefer Madness is a classic.
I love Reefer Madness. Okay, I saw
Play
Reefer Madness.
faster.
The best part of Reefer Madness is when the guy gets in the car and the driver's like, he's already smoked a joint, and the passenger goes, "Hey, are you okay to drive?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay." And he goes and fucking runs over some lady.
I mean, they've recycled that bit. I don't know how many times. I think there was one like
I love it.
was it late '90s or early 2000s where they had like some stone dudes in a fast food drive-through, and they get their order and they go to take off and they run over a little girl on a bicycle.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because I think that was a commercial, wasn't it?
It was a
Yeah,
commercial
it was
and then parodied by
yeah,
Spell.
Yeah, one of those PSA commercials. Like,
Yeah.
don't smoke weed, kids, or you might run over a kid on a bicycle who's unaccompanied, with adult supervision at a
Just
commercial
chilling.
area.
Hey, she was hanging out with her chicken tendies and her $15
like,
Happy Meal toy.
I remember. I want to say that had to have been like early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, because I want to say I was already smoking weed by that point. And when I saw that commercial, I laughed myself stupid, not because I was high, but just because that commercial was dumb.
It's
And
all
Della,
dumb.
I just have to say, I just found out that not everyone knew what boofing and butt chugging were.
Oh,
There's
God.
no way in
Butt
hell I'm going to
chugging.
talk about the weirdest shit that I know.
Look, there's a lot of terminology that I'm kind of discovering, and I wish I hadn't, to be honest. But
Well, now you're damned with the same knowledge that I have.
it's I guess it's all part of the journey. So, I
Yeah,
will.
butt chugging's just the alcohol-specific version of boofing. Boofing can be
my
used with
goodness.
alcohol. Boofing can also be used with any other drug that can be anally consumed.
If it can be absorbed by the intestine, it can go up your ass.
Yep.
We've all seen the episode of South Park.
Is there a wrench involved?
Also, the episode of Futurama. Good news! It's a pill.
No,
I
no, no,
don't
no, no,
think
no, no,
that'll
no,
fit
no,
in
no.
my mouth. Good news!
Yeah.
It's a suppository.
Yeah, that's the episode where they accidentally get a fishing license and they have to go and do it because it's mandatory.
Yep.
It's like, I can't breathe out there. It's like I've invented. This is a good opportunity for you to test my new pill. It's like, I can't swallow that. Well, good news. It's a suppository.
Yep.
Like one of the best things. They used to use that as a what do you call it? The primer to get you to watch. When I was on Adult Swim, they played that a lot. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's too funny. I can't wait for new episodes, and I hope they don't go woke.
I do.
Oh,
love
they're gonna
the
go woke.
Good
They don't
news.
need-
Well, it's going to be
Bad
on Hulu,
news.
so
News.
I think we can honestly
well, they
make a positive bet that it's gonna go woke.
They already
Although-
had robosexual stuff though, so I don't know.
although they actually are bringing Bender back, so that's a plus.
Yeah,
Oh, they're gonna
he's a vital
neuter
part.
Bender.
Because they renewed everyone's contract except Bender. And then
Wait, they're bringing back the character, or they're bringing back the voice actor?
the character. Like they were going to write him out of the show.
So they didn't get, was it John DiMaggio?
No, they got him back. They were going to write him
Oh.
off.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were going to completely write him out of the show.
He was Bill Murraying everything, and they just finally convinced him to not be a Bill Murray.
Oh, so they actually killed him off.
They were going to.
Oh,
But, I mean, they got everyone back. Billy West and Katie Seagal and all them.
Yep.
Phil Lamar. Oh, okay, cool.
Every single buddy come back, and they're all excited to do it. So I'm excited, tentatively, but this is the first thing I've been excited for in a long time because Futurama is my second favorite show of all time.
That also just made me think of you guys, of course,
What's the first
heard
one?
about
I love King of the Hill.
Well, and there's
Fair
the
enough.
and there's the unit.
Fuck you.
Have you seen? I'm trying to remember the channel name. It does the King of the Hill power levels.
Oh yeah, I watched all that. That shit's funny as hell.
I'm sorry, what now?
Yeah,
King of the Hill power levels.
Yeah.
So, hands down, the winner as far as power levels is Dale, which is closely followed by Hank and.
Are we talking like Dragon Ball Z power levels?
Kind of. They took every season, broke down their greatest feats and strengths, and then tried to justify it in terms of power scaling.
Yeah. So Dale is by far the strongest, followed by Bill and Hank. And Boomhauer has.
Bill is above Hank in this ranking?
He survived a tank explosion.
Yeah, he survived a tank explosion, and they take lines from the show.
Yeah, but I even
and
laugh
they
when I
treat
read
them
it.
as if they're completely fucking serious. The best part is at one point Bill says that when he's in uniform, he has the power of the Avengers. So he takes it at complete face value and goes, "This isn't the power of a Avenger. This is the power of the Avengers. When he's in uniform, he has the combined power of the Hulk, Iron Man." And he just starts listing off all the Avengers from the Avengers team when the show aired.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's hilarious. They're fantastic fucking videos. And Dale gets put up really high because he exterminated all the bugs in a tri-county area.
I've killed all the bugs and need something to do.
Yep. He also overhead single arm pressed a manhole cover. Those videos are fucking hilarious.
I'm going to try to find them, and then I'm going to link it into our group chat. Just hang on.
Okay.
Shaggy Durag is also really... Or Shady Durag, sorry. Shady
Yeah,
Durag.
I know, every time I see it, I think it's a Shaggy dude.
Shady Durag also does some fantastic King of the Hill videos.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
See, that was something that was taken into account, James. He did mention that Dale seems to fear Hank, but he thinks it's more out of respect for Hank rather than Hank actually being more powerful. And it's because Hank has some resistances that make him particularly suited to take on Dale, whereas when you're talking about actual powers, Dale exceeds Hank quite substantially.
Sent. Yeah, when you guys get time, watch them. They're great.
The Bill one was probably my favorite of them, just because it was what the fuck.
I was waiting for it
I want to talk about how much I hate Peggy, by the way. She drives me insane, and I just want her to like get smacked.
Oh my god. Yep. Thank you.
Like, I tried to like her. Like, in the first couple seasons, she's tolerable. But once she goes through the plane fall, they wrote her to be just an absolute harpy of a hoe.
John Redcorn is not in the game, thankfully, because I agree with Shady Durags. John Redcorn is the most detestable character.
He really is a piece of shit.
Yep.
Like, you're supposed to feel for him, like, oh, he doesn't get to hang out with his kid. You were cheating for 13 years and doing it in front of this guy's face, and you're worried about your kid.
Yep.
And you cheated on the person you were cheating with.
Yep. And he's willing to set anyone against anyone else for the sake of his personal satisfaction. Because
I love how
he turned Bobby against Hank just because he was feeling mopey.
Yep, you know, the white man. It's like, get the fuck. This loops perfectly back to our original discussion at the start of this episode.
It absolutely
That's the Thanksgiving episode.
Thanksgiving, yep.
There's a really cool explanation about all this stuff, by the way. Like, it's supposed to take place over the course of a year, but there's like 4 or 5 holiday episodes for the same holidays, which shouldn't work. And they have a final episode, a little bit of piece of it that you didn't get to see unless you saw it, like, I think on the DVD. It's on YouTube somewhere, where Bill was saying, "Oh, it was amazing that we did this stuff, and this stuff." And he's like, "No, we didn't." So you're supposed to go, "Oh, so these weren't the canon things of what happened," because it's supposed to be a show where you can watch them theoretically in any order, which doesn't work anyway because they, upgraded the voice actor for Joseph to, adult Joseph. So, so that can't work. And,
a couple story arcs that if you watch those out of order, you're fucked.
Yeah, some episodes Connie and Bobby are together. It was like they should have just kept it somewhat linear and they would have been okay. But they wanted to make more holiday episodes, is what it really came down to.
Mm-hmm.
Ergo, holiday episodes for sitcoms and TV shows are fucking stupid. Stop doing them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
John Redcorn deserves a free blanket.
That he fucking does.
He really does.
I'm not opposed to a holiday episode.
He can have an AIDS quilt.
One. You can have one for each of the holidays, and that's it. Unless you say a year has passed. There's no reason why Bobby couldn't be 14 by the end of the show and Joseph still be in middle school. I mean, Joseph's not exactly the brightest bulb.
Yep. Yeah, the way you do it...
Do they say how old Connie is ever in the show, like, definitively? Oh, they might have one, like, aisle 8, I think it was, or, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, well, they could retcon a little.
But yeah, it should have been that the only time that you get a holiday episode is when, in the canon for the show, it is the holiday. If it's supposed to take place within a year, you get one. And your holiday special, depending on how you write your fucking show, might not land on the holiday because this is all supposed to take place in the same fucking year. So if you didn't time your shit out right, it could be that they're currently in the middle of December, ends up hitting in the middle of July. And if that happens, sucks to suck. You should have planned that shit out better.
Honestly, I wanted to like John Redcorn until what was it? Mid-season 2?
What are you doing mid-season 2?
I don't remember if it was 2 or 3.
Was that the Thanksgiving episode 1?
No, that happened after Breckenmeyer took over
3 or
Joseph's
4?
voice.
Okay. Because I remember that was somewhat early on in the show.
Because I know that
it had to be after season 4 because Joseph got replaced in season 4, I believe, during Bobby's birthday. They hadn't seen each other over the course of the summer, and Joseph comes back tall and with a new voice.
Okay.
I'll have to rewatch because it's been a dog's age since I've seen it. So
yeah, I was gonna say me too. Like, and I think I probably appreciate King of the Hill more now than I did, watching it originally.
Oh yeah,
that's how I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, Peggy is still a bitch though.
Well, I mean,
Peggy.
I'm like, I think it was like what, halfway through, like you were saying, Dax, like the third season. Where I'm just like,
I think it was the tail end of the second where she started getting insufferable.
I'm just like, how the fuck are you guys still married?
She's so liberal and Hank's so conservative.
Mm-hmm.
But she votes Republican on key things, I guess. So maybe there's a lesson for that too. It's like, yeah, you can want your kid to be whatever they want to be when they grow up, but also think that there should be, God in place in your life and stuff. I don't fucking know. It gets confusing occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But she's so narcissistic and, oh my God, I can do anything. Sure, you got arrested and you're in Spanish court and you can't speak Spanish properly. I got myself out of it, even though I just thought a second ago that I lied or that I failed and I was going to go to prison because I didn't know how to translate it properly. But I'm still amazing.
Yeah, that's the part that pisses me off. In order to maintain the character, they had a bunch of moments where there should have been a character arc. and they refuse to have a character arc.
Yeah. I mean, I think they gave Lucky a character arc before they gave her one that actually worked.
Oh yeah.
Like, at least Lucky went from, being just one of the redneck friends to being part of the family and actually trying to better himself. And then Peggy fucks that all up.
Yep.
Out of spite.
Peggy's
like, he's not good. Yeah, he's not good enough. I'm going to help him fail to get his GED, which would have ultimately proven that he was worthy to be Luann's husband. So you are a hypocritical fucking moron and fucking want to beat her ass.
And then she gets pissed off when he refuses to marry her, because at the end of that episode, if you guys remember, shit happened that he should fucking marry her. And he was refusing because he failed his test, which she had made him fail. And she didn't have to come clean and admit that she made him fail, because there was another loophole in how they could get him to marry her, which they were able to do. So it ends up resolving without her admitting that she fucked up.
She did say that she did screw up the testing and all that, but they don't seem to stay mad at her because there's an alternative.
Yep, that's the thing that I'm saying. That she doesn't really get the penalty of it.
And she deserved all the ire. She should have been kicked out.
Yeah. Everyone should have started treating her much differently, rather than still looking up to her, which he still looked up to her. When she first said that she purposefully made him fail, he looks at her and says, "That's kind of you to say that, but I know that your code of honor wouldn't allow you to do that."
Code of honor? Who has a freaking code of honor?
Mm-hmm.
I have a code of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. It's like, how did Hank and her get together? It's like, he really is a lot more like Lucky than he thinks he is, which is just funny to me.
Yeah. The difference is that he's higher class than Lucky.
He probably hooked up with her and then got pregnant. He's like, well, I'm stuck.
Oh, talking about hooking up, she also lied to him about being a virgin.
Yep.
She hooked up with a dude once just to see if he was gay.
Yeah, there's so many points where there should have been a change in character or a massive penalty, and then there just wasn't.
She never suffers the ramifications of her actions, not once. Even during like the pageant thing where she's just so believing that she's the hottest piece of ass on, the God's green earth. She is just about to get her comeuppance where she's made an absolute fool of herself and Hank saves her. And she doesn't even seem remotely grateful. Oh, she's so insipid.
Worst wife ever.
She's a good mother to Bobby because Bobby won't change. And that's one of his major failings. But he's also not stupid enough to believe that you can fuck around forever and not and accomplish something. He knows at the end of the day, there are responsibilities you have to take on and things you have to do because he has his dad to help him get through it. If it was just up to Peggy, he'd be fucked.
Yeah. And Bobby is one of the ones that kind of has character arc at various points. Not always well maintained, but it is far better maintained with him than a lot of the other characters.
Luann does a pretty good job of evolving too, but she's...
Yep.
I remember that. I don't know you. This is my purse.
I don't know you. What? That's my purse. Kick. I love that episode.
Yep.
One of the best ones ever made.
Absolutely fantastic. And there's a lot of really good moments in that show.
That was actually a good moment for Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Oh, you're not going to listen to your dad, even though he told you to do this, and you're going to be a little shit. Your tactics won't work on me, motherfucker."
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful, but then again, that played into her ego of being strong. But it's strong in this case because she didn't have nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's funny here, Hank says, I can get her to do that anytime I want her to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of moments that are really fucking good in that show.
God, it's even Khan has better moments than Peggy.
Oh yeah.
Like Anaconda, showed that if they would have had more seasons, that he might have not been a completely insufferable twat.
Well, the problem was that he constantly had his character reset to square one.
Yep. Even when he learned something.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, the introduction of Lucky and Trace Adkins' character, who I forget at the top of my mind here, it's like they go out and they have fun, they do a bunch of redneck stuff, but at the end of it, he's like, man, this was fun and all, and I guess not all rednecks are pieces of trash and they're kind of fun, but I got to focus on being a good dad and being a responsible husband, or we're going to end up way worse off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a nice thing to learn.
Yep.
And of course, we get to see episodes where he gets absolutely fucked over, like when he buys the car wash. That was pretty funny.
Yep. Though there he should have learned a lesson, and he doesn't really maintain that lesson.
Anyone else getting audio issues?
No.
What sort of audio issue?
Are we cutting out?
I didn't think we were. I heard everything, unless it's on the video.
All right, let me refresh. Let me see if this.
Goddamn, James. If Hank and Peggy divorced, Bobby would be on hormone therapy and trans.
She might have put that in his head. I think Bobby in and of himself likes being a dude, to be fair. Except for that one episode that he does say that men are trash. Was that wasn't? Yeah, was that the same episode as That's My Purse?
I believe so, yeah. He is incredibly influenced by those around him.
Yes, he's a joiner.
And yeah, that's another major flaw for him. Hence the I don't know you, this is my purse.
Yeah, you figure if he was smart enough, he'd have been like, okay, I get it. It's not the fact that I'm yelling. It's the fact that I'm distracting him and then kicking him in his testicles.
Mm-hmm. Though you have to admit, a guy yelling, I don't know you, that's my purse, that's pretty fucking distracting.
I mean, it would have been a couple of years ago. Now it'd be just like, oh, where did he drop his purse? Maybe I should get that for him.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, he has a purse?
No. It's just in this day and age, if we were to bring up somebody having a purse and they were a dude, it might not be ironically funny.
It's a man's carry-all.
It's a satchel.
It's a European man bag.
Wings. Fucking love that show too.
Wings.
I haven't seen that one in forever.
It's been a while. Tony Shalhoub.
I think I have the first 2 seasons.
Tony Shalhoub years before Monk. I actually saw the younger brother from Wings in
Steven Weber.
the stage play of the producers. When I saw the producers live, he was Bloom.
Oh, wow.
And he did a really fucking good job as Bloom.
See, I didn't know Steven Weber was doing stage work.
Yeah. He's apparently been doing a shit ton of stage.
Him and
Shalhoub
has been too.
The last thing I saw Steven Weber in was iZombie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I loved him in that. It was ridiculously over the top.
NCIS New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
I actually like that show.
I did not.
I like Bakula.
I like Bakula too, but
once he lost the accent.
His accent was trash.
Yeah, once he started sliding out of the accent, they let him talk more normal. I was happier.
God.
I didn't like them killing off Lucas Black though.
Didn't he want to leave the show though?
I mean, he was like the only thing in that show that I actually liked.
Oh.
But yeah, the younger brother
Okay.
Still having audio issues,
Was-
Adam?
was a fantastic Bloom.
I vaguely remember the TV miniseries of The Shining, James.
I remember it. It had bad CGI.
And I hated that kid.
Oh my god, yes.
I'm like, just kill him now. He's right there. Just take.
To be fair, though, it was the most like the book compared to the Shining movie that we actually like. But that's usually how it works for Stephen King. He has okay, interesting, maybe ideas and stories, but God help you if you let him write it and direct it on his own.
See, I'm afraid to go back and watch like Stephen King stuff because
All his self-produced stuff is just garbage. Like the Langoliers. Oh my god, that was terrible.
I'm trying to remember what fucking movie it was that.
you probably think of
got-
Maximum Overdrive.
That was the one where it was what happens if I'm able to direct it myself. Because
That's
if you want
Maximum
something
Overdrive.
Done right, you
Honey,
have to do it
this
yourself.
machine just called me an asshole.
He was so high on cocaine. He said, "You know what? I'm going to direct this fucker myself."
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get AC/DC to do the soundtrack.
There better be an 8-ball and an orange juice in my freaking trailer. I swear to God.
So that was during his cocaine time and not during his opiate time?
I would have been more sleepy.
I didn't even know about an opiate time. I knew he like.
When he got hit by the car.
Oh well, I mean.
Isn't that when he wrote Green Mile?
That's when he wrote Cujo.
Oh yeah.
No, that's Christine, wasn't it?
Oh, Christine, yeah.
Yeah, Christine, not Cujo. We knew what you were talking about.
But no, like
I saw it.
they did a live version of Rocky Horror Picture Show on like Fox a few years back,
Yeah.
and like Mama
The
Camel
one where
was
they
a
made
big,
Frankenfurter black and trans?
yeah, Laverne Cox played Frankenfurter, and I think Tim Curry, he was just narrating. I think was it? I think it was before his stroke.
It was just
after.
Just after.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he was
I
still
wanna
I
say
keep
it was
forgetting
just
he
after.
had one.
he was still in the wheelchair, and he does not look good at all.
Oh, no.
But
The
no, like
stroke fucked him up. He was amazing. I loved everything that he was in for the longest fucking time.
well, like when it aired, Mama Camel, big Rocky Horror fan, so like sat down and watched that, and I was never really a big fan of that one, but I was like, you know what, I'll watch this with you, and we'll you watch it with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking like the TV miniseries It with like Seth Green and all of them,
Yep.
and John Boy, and shit, why am I spacing on his name now? John Ritter,
Mm-hmm. The good one.
the good one.
Oh, no, that was the new one,
John Ritter,
right?
huh?
I'm thinking the good It versus the new.
Well, see, here's the thing. That's part of the reason why I'm afraid to go back and watch Stephen King stuff, because we sat down and watched that. Right? Like I remember, that It from being a kid, because that was like what 90, early 90s. I want to say like 93, 94, something like that. And I was a big horror fan as a kid. Mom turned me onto it, with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back now, probably not the best decision on her part, but So we sat down, and we watched It, and it is way worse than I remember. Like just,
It's bad.
yeah, like the only redeeming part of it was Tim Curry.
Yeah, Tim Curry is the redeeming part because the special effects are shit now. When you look,
Well,
at
I mean, it
them.
was TV special effects at that.
Yeah, which is part of the reason why they're shit. But when you are willing to put aside the special effects, it's decent. Tim Curry, elevates it massively.
And yes, Harry Anderson as well. He played the older version of Seth Green's character Richie.
I like him too.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like that movie had like a big cultural impact for like me and the kids I grew up around. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I I had one girlfriend one time. She greeted me at the door with a beep beep Richie, like in that voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, you know.
Though everyone forgets the sewer gangbang.
I never forgot the sewer gangbang. The only thing that can defeat it is actual love. And as the prepubescent teens entered inside the prepubescent girl, it's like, what?
Yeah.
What compelled you to write this?
Booze.
Booze and pills.
So bad.
Well,
And
he
if
had
you
whole
are
books that he
also
didn't
one
even
of the
writing because he blackout drunk.
If you're
He had
also
an
one of
editor,
the
though.
that tends to forget about the gangbang in the sewer. Yeah, in order to get out of the sewer, the people had to have a gangbang. So all of the boys in that group, yeah, they fucked the girl.
It was her idea.
Mm-hmm.
And
See, this is why I watch Stephen King. I don't read Stephen King.
Yep. But yeah, the number of
Shawshank
people that
Redemption was
forget
awesome.
that was a thing.
Well,
I had not heard of the sewer gangbang.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
the
because
sewer
you didn't
gangbang.
read.
Everyone
You didn't
forgets-
read it. You watched it like a good person. But no, like I don't really. I give Stephen King credit for like the premise to Shawshank and like the Green Mile, but I mean, to me that's less Stephen King and more Frank Darabont, in my opinion.
The Green Mile ending was disappointing of the movie.
Yeah.
But he was tired, boss.
I'm tired, boss. Real tired.
Coffee, like the drink, but spelled different.
That movie.
Michael Clark Duncan, man. We lost a
National
real
treasure gone too soon.
one. Yeah.
And one of the only race swaps I've ever enjoyed as a character.
He was
Indeed.
meant for the fucking kingpin.
He was
He oozes
he
kingpin.
was the only part of that
Yep.
movie I liked.
Oh yeah, he is the only part of that movie that was worth a shit. Him
I
as
like the Daredevil
kingpin.
costume.
He was the kingpin.
You like what?
Because when you think about
The
kingpin,
costume.
Eh,
It was
when you
alright for
think-
what the time was.
when you think about Kingpin, Kingpin is a walking mountain of a fucking person. Just an absolute mountain of meat and muscle and brilliant. And Michael Clark Duncan could pull off being the walking mountain of meat and muscle because dude was a big fucking dude.
As much
And
as,
he
as
could
much as
also
I liked
pull off being intelligent.
as much as I liked D'Onofrio's, not as good.
D'Onofrio was pretty good, but it's not Michael Clark Duncan good.
No.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, that if the race doesn't matter to a character,
I like him in the Slam and Sam and Green Badger Outdoors says.
That movie it was alright.
as long as the race is not a central feature of the character, you can change it. As long as it makes sense in the world, you can.
I'm a
change
purist.
It.
Don't
No
change it.
fucking problem.
Nah,
But-
it was made the way. Don't change it. I will die on that hill. It's like there's no reason to change it if it was already created a certain way. We already have expectations, and you're changing them for a quota box. But here's the caveat. This was before that was such a big deal.
And also,
Yeah.
you've added a criteria of if you're changing it for a quota box, yeah, you've already fucked up. Whereas if you're casting a role, it should be like Alien. Do you guys know what the secret behind Ripley's character was in Alien?
Nope.
The Sigourney
Do any
Weaver
of
was
you-
the only one willing to get like semi-naked.
No, the reason why Ripley was written as Ripley was, there was no gender for Ripley. Ripley was written without any indication of male or female in the original Alien script. And
I think
they
I heard
just
that at some
went
point.
for who matched the character of Ripley the best.
I wonder if
It was
that's kind
Sigourney
of like
Weaver.
it's kind of a mini slight against Sigourney Weaver. It's like, match character best. Kind of sound and look like a dude, which I don't believe, but I've heard people say before, and it's rude.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. But they wrote a character that was not necessarily male, was not necessarily female, just had specific characteristics. And they cast a actor who had those characteristics. And I would argue with Kingpin, they did the same thing. They had the specific characteristics of Kingpin. He's ridiculously muscular, ridiculously big, and intelligent. Who's an actor that can play all those aspects? Oh, also he has to be bold. Who's an actor that can
Can
play
you think
all those
at the
parts?
time you could have done it otherwise?
Dom DeLuise.
Tom Teller, get the fuck out.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If you're thinking about who fits that role, Michael Clark Duncan fits it like a fucking glove.
Yeah, he was great for it. And the decision on that grounds made sense. They tried to make him look as close as they could. Again, this is why a lot of people don't have a problem with the Sam Jackson version of Nick Fury as much as they could have. Because
And that's
one, they had an
another
alternate
example.
version. But yeah, he was well suited for the role. Nick Fury's always been about that, fuck you, I do what I need to do to make sure we come out on top.
Yep.
And who on the planet just screams, fuck you, I do what I need to do?
Yep. And this is where certain castings absolutely shit the bed to me. And it infuriates me endlessly that they do. The one that I always bring up, because I really love the book series, is, have any of you read The Wheel of Time?
I have not.
No.
It was never on my list either. I got to admit, I'm sorry.
Okay. Let me
But
pull up.
I just had the flash of Oprah, so I already know
Yeah.
which story you're talking about, and I hate you for it.
Let me pull up a few pictures, fan pictures of one of my favorite characters from The Wheel of Time.
I mean,
Because this character is described in a very specific manner. He's described as just this hulking mountain of a man, ridiculously heavily muscled, to the point where at one point he's being described by another character, and the other character describes him as looking like he had steel cables writhing beneath the skin of his forearms.
it's gonna be.
So you guys
it's gonna be
kind of get
It's gonna be a
a
picture
mental-
of DJ Qualls, isn't it?
you guys get a mental image from that description, right? And he's also described as having kind of pale eyes and a beard, brown, fairly like even brown hair in the book. Somewhat tanned, but not really tanned. Gives you a really good image, right? So, would you say that the image that you currently have in your head is similar to this image that a fan artist made?
Okay.
That kind of what you were picturing when I described massive hulking dude, kind of even brown hair, beard, kind of pale eyes? Makes sense, right?
Sure.
Yes, this fits the general description you gave.
Okay. So, do you want to see the actor that plays him?
Okay.
Hit us.
Do we need to?
Yep. Let me share this.
We're gearing up for disappointment, so go for it.
Why are you
Yep.
trying to make me sad?
I'm quickly resizing this so that it is all going to be visible. So this is a image of the actor with a fan-made drawing of Perrin after this actor was announced, of them trying to make this person seem more fit for the role. Everyone ready?
Sure.
Is this the man that you pictured when I was describing hulking physical specimen that looked like he had cables writhing beneath his forearm, a heavy beard with even brown hair? Was this the picture that you were picturing? This just generic mixed guy?
Johnny.
But
Why, yes, absolutely
Green
was.
looks
How
like a
did you
photo
know?
negative of what Sanguine's showing.
yeah, I suppose I should do that.
That's great. I didn't even notice. I mean, he kind of looks more like it now that he's got that super Raiden eyes thing going on, but no, he does not.
Yeah. This was the person that they cast. Also, all the main characters except for one were supposed to come from the same small village. So when you think a small village, everyone in that
Go ahead
village...
and pull that picture back up.
Oh, let me pop it back up. And... Oh, you had it, the one that was being filtered through your
Yeah.
color correction one?
Twas improper.
There we go. This dude is nowhere near as muscle as I am, but they cast him.
I would say more like Oded Fair would work in that one.
There's a fair number of actors that they could have cast for Perrin.
Wait, the dude from Deuce Bigelow?
Yeah. Or the Mummy, if you want to go with that one.
I was gonna go with Mummy, but I thought Deuce Bigelow would be funnier.
They chose none of the actors that could have played Perrin. They chose this guy, who looks nothing like the description. Which, again, Perrin is well described. He has pale eyes. He is insanely heavily muscled. He's a blacksmith's apprentice. He has arms thicker than most people's legs. And his forearms looked like steel cables were writhing beneath them. He is described numerous times as having pale but slightly tanned skin. So, like I said, all the main characters come from the same village. Let me pull up the... Or not all, but most of the main characters come from the same village. Let me pull up the casting of the Wheel of Time. And tell me how many of these people do you think come from the same fucking village? Small village, hasn't been around the rest of the kingdom that they're a part of to the point where they don't even know the fucking ruler of the land's name. So let's see. Can I pull up a good image of the casting? The only person who's supposed to look different is there's supposed to be one person who has kind of dusky skin and red hair. So this is of the main five. Let me pop this up in another tab and then share it. So let me know how many of these people you think came from the same village.
All of them.
Maybe 3 at most.
Yeah, maybe 3. And which one do you think is supposed to be the kind of dusky-skinned, brilliantly red-haired one?
The one on the left, far left.
So, that is not the right answer.
I'm gonna say
Oh,
this one.
Braid, second from the right.
It is, I believe the middle one is cast as Rand. He's supposed to be the one that has somewhat dusky skin and brilliantly fiery hair.
Joshua Stradowski.
None
That
of these
sounds like
people,
something you would name a ginger.
there's
It was as told
Correction.
by Ginger.
one of these characters could look somewhat like the character that they're supposed to look like. And the only one that can look somewhat like the character that they're supposed to look like is far right. Everyone else incorrectly cast. And again, these are supposed to be people that are from the same small village, so they should look the same except for the one character. They don't look like they're from the same fucking village.
Looks like he plays in a bunch of Norwegian movies.
Doesn't overly surprise me. But, yeah. This was horrendous casting because this was entirely woke casting. This wasn't going for the people that best fit the description.
His name is Jonas.
His name is Jonas.
It wasn't going for people that made sense as the characters. This was going for, well, we can't have the main five be white.
Welcome to the new version of IMDb. Well, I hate it.
I hated IMDb to start with.
So this casting pisses me off. But when it's you're casting for this is the best actor for this part, and they're objectively the best actor, like Michael Clark Duncan for Kingpin, like Sam Jackson for Fury, it makes perfect sense. And I have absolutely no problem with that. But so often, you're looking at the person that the character is supposed to be playing. You're looking at their description, and you're going, this doesn't make sense. A really good example, the dude's a fantastic actor. Nothing against Idris Elba. Idris Elba is a brilliant actor.
Yes.
He wasn't
Idris
the first
Elba.
person I thought of for Heimdall, though.
Not the first person I thought of for Heimdall, because first off, for those of you who don't know, Heimdall is the fairest of the Aesir, with golden hair that is rather well described. Also, he is absolutely not who you think of when you read the description for the gunslinger. Especially when you know that in the story, the gunslinger meets a character who is a young black girl who's a former slave who is ridiculously racist and constantly calls the gunslinger various racial slurs.
And also, the character was modeled after Clint Eastwood.
Yep. So if you wanted a perfect modern actor to play that role,
Scotty.
there's one clear one. Yes. I'm pretty sure Clint just had fucking cloning tech and jizzed in a tube in order to make Scott. Because that boy, goddamn, he's a fucking clone of his old man.
He's a. Has he had any leading parts yet? Like,
Scott,
I only recall him like being in like supporting roles.
What I really want to have happen is I want him to be the lead in a Western that his father directs.
Oh, you better write a script fast and Sanguine, because the clock is ticking.
True. Sadly, I'm not a writer.
Not that I'm seeing. Overdrive.
Overdrive. I don't recall that one. I know he had a part in.
It's a cars and boobs movie.
Fair enough. I know he had
I'm
a part
surprised you
in
don't know that movie.
The Outpost. I still haven't seen that movie. I did read the book about it though.
He was in a Taylor Swift video.
But yeah,
And she didn't write any songs about him.
Apparently not.
Dodged a bullet there.
the other thing that I want is I want a return to old westerns. And when I say old westerns, I mean John Wayne style westerns, not Clint Eastwood style. I like Clint Eastwood style, but I think we need the idealism of John Wayne westerns.
I mean, I could see maybe pulling off like maybe one or two like that, but I don't know if you'd ever return like the western genre to that.
Oh, it doesn't need to be every movie, but I want.
Like I was saying, I was like, you could probably maybe get one or two movies like that, but like I said, I don't think you'd be able to get the western genre more towards that line as a whole.
Yeah, westerns are kind of niche-esque. Like they're really well done.
It is time we had some more westerns though.
Yeah,
like I think we're overdue.
And I think we need more idealism again. Because I'm getting sick and fucking tired of everything's dystopia.
I don't necessarily want dystopia, but I would appreciate more realism. Like, I mean, we all played the Oregon Trail in school, right?
See, I want realism.
Yeah, exactly. I want a western where like a character shits himself to death.
I want realism in setting and idealism in.
They drank bad water,
That would be
crossed
my
a fjord.
That would be my ideal.
3 of your oxen have drowned.
My first time, actually, I was teaching the boys. I'm like, this is the games we played when I was a kid. Went to the Internet Archive. Played Oregon Trail. And before we made it to the first river, there was a fire. 2 of the kids died. And 2 of the other characters broke their legs.
Nice.
As it all should be.
And I'm like, and that's within 15 seconds of starting the game.
Mm-hmm.
Did they plan wrong and run out of bolts too?
Oh no, we barely made it halfway through. Like Murphy's Law was enacted when I started that game.
Nice.
Your carts are surrounded by bandits. You lose all your food.
It's like if Oregon Trail had an impossible mode.
The whole game is impossible mode.
That's what made you feel accomplishment whenever you fucking won. Because you'd be going, I fucking did it. This is an actual goddamn accomplishment. I made it to the end with all my fuckers alive somehow. Hell yeah, I'm awesome.
I didn't care if all my people made it alive, as long as I did.
Success. The caravan has only me left.
I just liked it that when you passed because we played it as a class.
Mm-hmm.
Way back when, and I just liked it when, like, you're like, oh, you stumbled upon a headstone, and it's like Joe Mama, like as the thing. I'm like, that I appreciate. It's looks like another corpse. Amanda Hug and Kiss. Oh, okay. They must have been lonely.
I mean, the trouble comes from when you find somebody who says, one of the characters' name is, I have a large butthole.
But yeah, I want westerns that have realistic settings but idealistic characters. I'm getting sick and tired of everything being dystopia. I want there to be a hero that is actually a fucking hero.
Here lies Fred Quisha.
Hey, rest assured, she can't harm anybody anymore.
Well, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to fade.
I
Yeah.
need to make food because we
Got
have
the
shit food.
itis?
No,
Elephantitis.
Like I said, starting the new job, so it's a bit of a shock to the system, and also, I'm starting to fade a little bit because I do need to get something to eat as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm probably gonna just go to bed after that.
All right, and so we will jump to parting thoughts. Dax?
What are thoughts?
Sluts on the internet.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, Pokemon.
Is Adam legitimately snoring, or is he just doing a bit?
I think he is out.
I think he's zonked, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's
Oh,
awesome. Aw. You
Oh,
got my
yeah.
hopes up, you son of a bitch. My parting thought is Adam's an asshole.
waiting for a part that I can jump in, but
No,
We
asked
were
if
talking
you-
about cartoons
if
for
you
like a
had-
half hour. You could have jumped in.
You said you were having
Cartoons
audio
and
trouble, and then we asked if you were still having issues, and you didn't say anything.
oh yeah, no, I corrected it. So,
So Adam's parting thought is mission accomplished.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
we got him.
Nice.
Sanguine?
I'll leave off with my standard. If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
And Mr. Adams?
Words love by.
Any parting thoughts, Adam?
Oh, that the audio was the party, but no, I had some fun hanging out with you guys on a Thursday. It's Thursday, right?
It is Thursday.
Still?
I mean, depending on what time zone you're in. Like Johnny's
Right.
still living in the past. It's Friday for.
Well,
It's
rest
now
of it.
Friday for us. Yeah.
it's 20 minutes to
It was
Friday.
Thursday night.
20 minutes to me.
To
Okay,
midnight. Oh.
it's yo, I had a fun chat with y'all. Love y'all. God bless. Take care. And don't forget to add us to Rumble. I gotta show the minions on Rumble.
Ah, yes.
Help the minions get
Copy
up
that.
to at least 100 subscribers over on Rumble, so they can do live streams over there too.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yep.
And then shit can get
And
dirty.
other than that, I'm good.
Then we can make some of the jokes that we used to be able to make.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. And Camel?
Well, I was gonna show the Rumble, but
Oh.
I mean, kind of redundant now.
You stole your thunder.
So
No. I want you to do it too.
I will leave you with this. On Thanksgiving, just eat your turkey and shut the fuck up.
All right. And
Nice.
I'll do a throwback of I don't know you. This is my purse.
I don't know you. That's my purse.
And on that note, the zoo is closed. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.